keep on holding on, yeah. Never let go easy. No, no, no. I believe in the word of God. On His promises, I will stand. I'm holding.
I think you get the picture. The biggest step to overcoming my biggest first step to releasing my first ever song will be overcoming fear. Even the fear right now of just being in front of the camera and recording this, it makes me a little uncomfortable. It's just like I'm just so naturally reserved and comfortable being in the background. So all this is like all new. It ain't very new. I'm gonna get to that later. But yeah, it's not very new, but it's still uncomfortable. People don't like public speaking. So once the camera comes on, it's like we all act unnatural. We don't know how to be ourselves. And so this is the first step forward. The first step towards doing anything, whether it's releasing a song, whether it's um, living your dream, your God-given dream, not just your dream, but your God-given dream. It starts with overcoming fear because comes into play. And so that is my story as well. Fear is the reason why I'm waiting to now to release a song or waiting to now to start a YouTube channel and start doing videos. It's because of fear. And I just thank God that He's given me lately, I think over the past probably decade or so, He's given me the courage to go forth and just start conquering these fears. And so I am so grateful that He's stirred that in my heart to start overcoming the fears and not letting fear paralyze me anymore, not letting it hinder me from experiencing joy, not and just joy and fulfillment right here in this time period. We get to experience that with Him right now. And so I am so grateful that He's stirred that passion for overcoming fear and doing things that are outside of my comfort zone and working on bettering myself, not just professionally or personally, but spiritually. Sorry, something was in my face. Yeah, so he's doing that work in me. He's begun that work in me. And so I just have to trust Him and obey Him and follow through in what He's leading me to do. Not that I'm called to be a singer per se, but I am called to do His will. And I'm called to share the gospel. It's called to do many of things that He's called for me to do that I have been afraid to do because I'm worried about all these different things. And so, what is driving the fear, you want to ask? Or maybe I'm asking for on your behalf. So, what is driving the fear? It's just the fear of the unknown, the fear of what could happen, the what ifs. Like, what if I'm making a fool of myself? Because we all know those people we've seen American Idol where they audition and they're not really singers. That's not their gifting and calling. And they kind of on screen making, I don't want to say making a fool of themselves because they have courage to go forth and doing it, but they believing that they are good and stuff like that. So that's my fear, like being like making a fool of myself and wasting time and resources because I am using my money to promote this song, to record the song, to I'm using my resources, my time as well. I didn't write this song particularly, but we'll get into that later on. But yeah, it still takes time and money and effort. So just doing all this, it's that's the fear that is a waste. And also a fear of what people will think. People may not like it. That's another fear that I have. People may not like it. And so that's also affecting me, the fear of man, what they think, and how it's perceived. Like all those things. And I can probably go on and on about everything that I'm concerned about, like worried about just just the whole shebang, like how to release it and and all the things I just named. And it's like fear. It's really just fear. And so, will it, like Jesus said, will it add a morsel to will it add to our lives? One cubit, I think that's what it says. So, will it add to our lives? No, it's not just causing added stress and it's keeping us from progressing and being who God called for us to be. So, that's why it's important for us to start overcoming the fear. That's the first step. Trusting in God, hearing from Him, believing that He has given you something to do, and walking in that active faith. So, overcoming fear with faith. Our faith is stronger than our fear. We believing that God has given us something to do. We believing that I'm believing that I have a purpose. And so here I am doing this crazy stuff on the camera, talking and recording. I just spent so much time trying to figure out this stuff. So that's another ordeal. But yeah, I'm overcoming the fear. And it's hard. I'm a perfectionist, so it's really hard to overcome the fear because that's the other perception. Not only that the step of overcoming the fear of recording, then it's the fear of like releasing it because I was listening to it and I was thinking like it ain't good enough. Like I'm a perfectionist, like I just mentioned. So all of this, like the whole process, I'm looking for a perfect product. But honestly, it's not going to be. This is my first song that I'm releasing. And so it's not going to be like some number one hit. But it serves a purpose. It serves God's purpose for getting me to be comfortable recording. It serves a purpose for helping me find and redefine and define my sound. Find, refine, redefine. You get what I'm saying. It helps me to cultivate my sound and find my voice as an artist, find my voice as a singer, learn my voice. So not that you need to go to recording to do that, but I mean, it's all helping us make. It's all helping me. Sorry, it's helping you too. It's all helping me and us to become better and to build, to mature in these giftings and whatever God has called for us to, in whatever venue. But I'm just saying, it's my recording this and it not being what I wanted. It still doesn't mean it's not ready to be released or needs to be released. Maybe it don't need to be released, but I'm doing it to get over the fear of what people will think and trying to be this perfectionist because I don't know if people may receive it. People may not. So it's like just have to leave that to God. I'm sorry for all this rambling and I'm even getting tongue tied right now. But nonetheless, again, there's a purpose for it. Where do these fears stem from? They stem from my own insecurity as a singer. So that's where the fears stem from. And just my I guess overly worrying about what people will think and just making a fool of myself. That's really where it stems from. Yeah, that's where it really stems from. And so what drives me to overcome these fears? What drives me to overcome these fears is that I want to live. I want to live and have peace, and not have regrets, not wishing that I would have done this because I already have somewhat regrets. I wish I would have done this earlier and sooner, but God has His timing and His will, and so I'm grateful that I get to overcome my fears right now. I get to work on those right now with His strength and with His help and empowerment. I mean, He's given me that drive to want to overcome my fears because I could have been just fine, like it's whatever. I'm not going to try, but I thank the Lord that He's given me a drive just to overcome. Like, no, you're gonna, you want to be better. Here is how you're going to be better. And just trusting that he knows what he's doing. He's refining me and making me better through this whole ordeal, this whole process. And so I'm grateful. And so that's how I'm overcoming by the grace of God, is by his strength and by the what he stirred up in me to overcome, to do this something, to do this thing that I've always dreamed about doing, but I always felt that I had to have money, felt that I had to have the right producers, and felt that I had to have a record company. But no, it's just I get to release music freely, and it can be fun. It may not be it may not be perfect. It may not be the best vocal performance that I can give, but it is for right now. And so I can be grateful for that and grateful for the courage to release it. And so for people to show, if they don't like it, they don't like it. But it shows, it will serve as a purpose to show my growth as a recording artist. And so it's all good. Everything works together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. And again, this is his call. Not that I'm called to be a singer, but I am called to be whatever he's called for me to be. And this moment, it may be a source of encouragement for somebody. That's what I want to do, inspire people to walk in their God-given callings. So how am I going to overcome fear? I'm going to overcome my fears by just doing it, just trusting God and just walking as he leads me, and obediently. That's what I'm working on. Doing obediently, not trying to do it in my own strength and in my own way, trying to make it happen. But no, just letting it have its course and let God do what he's supposed to do. Let God be God. I don't have to be God, thankfully. Even though I try to be. We all try to be, if I'm being honest. But just letting him be who he is and just walking as he leads. I mean, this serves a bigger purpose than just for right now. It's probably something that it will leave, hopefully, that will leave eternal, it will not leave eternal value, but you get what I'm saying. It'll have a lasting effect on whomever it's meant to have an effect on. Definitely in line with his kingdom purpose. What have I learned from this experience? I've learned that I can do this. That I have the courage. That I have the musicality, which I didn't feel like I had until I was working with these people and trying to convey my ideas to them. I mean, I felt like I could have done it better, but I don't have really like that much of a musical background. But nonetheless, it was effective. I don't have to be a musician who's played 20 years that is musical, a musician who's played instruments musical for 20 years, or who's studied voice for 10 years or whatever. Because I really haven't had training really until I got to like, yeah, I started late in the game. I started in my like probably mid 20s or late 20s when I started to really try to take vocal lessons or whatever. Because otherwise I was just getting something here and there and just doing it on my own. But I started to do lessons on and off because it is expensive. But I started to do lessons. And so I feel inadequate as a singer still. My biggest thing is support. That's something I always struggle with, even today, right now. It's just having that support set. And I'm gonna do like some videos probably showing my rehearsals. And it's always has to do with support and in my perception of what I'm hearing. So anyway, what I was getting back to, what was I talking about? I kind of went off track. I was talking about, yeah, not having, thank you, Holy Spirit, not having that much musical background to be able to convey to the musicians, like what am I, and the producer that I did find. Like I was saying, that was one of my worries, and not having to have the right producer. I didn't have the right producer. I happened to walk where God is leading me. I just took the step of faith and started going to recording studios, and I wound up meeting a great producer who we worked together well with, and made the whole experience fun. Yeah, and that's what, and it just being able to convey. I didn't have all that background to be able to convey like what I wanted. So, but what I did know was like what type of sounds I liked. And so those really served to help me. Those little things, like what you like, what sounds you like in music, it really helps to create your sound. And so it did help. And I was able to convey in some small capacities what I was trying to go for with this song. And so he was able to pick it up, and it just, he was able to add more and put to words sometimes what I was trying to express, because I don't have that background. I know I keep saying that, but I really don't. Not that you need it to get started with song and overcome the fear of doing this, or any fear. You don't have to have everything together. That's what I'm getting at. To be able to go forth in what God's called for you to do, He will make the provisions. And that's what I'm trying to convey in such a long winded way, which is odd. I'm usually straight to the point. So, but anyways, yeah. Yeah, I did, it was just, everything worked out. Just do it. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I lost track of that. But yeah, just do it. Give it a try. Step out on faith. Launch into the deep. Um, with God's prompting, because again, we don't want to be doing it in our own strength. We have to do what we can. Like He opens the door, we have to walk through it. So in that regard, that's what we do, stepping out on faith. So that's how we do it. Just that's how I'm going to overcome it. That's how I am overcoming it. And have, well, I'm not having to overcome yet, but I'm still, well, I'm overcoming. This is like a process. It's not just that I just overcame it after recording the song. No, it's still, I'm overcoming fear. And so I'm just overcoming by just doing it, just by trusting God and walking in it, stepping in those uncomfortable spaces and being comfortable with being uncomfortable, just being humble. Because if I go in there arrogantly thinking that I knew everything, I would just make a fool of myself. I felt like I made a fool of myself anyway because I didn't know everything. But anyway, the humility really helps, and really helps people want to help you where you are. So just be honest, and just be a student, learn from every experience. I'm learning from this whole experience. Speaking of experience, what I want people to learn from this experience, that is that fear is just what they say, imagining something that hasn't happened or will probably never happen. You're anticipating it. So you never know exactly what it is until you actually step out and do it. So I just want to encourage you to step out in faith and to trust God. Don't be afraid. God has not called for us to be afraid. It's not give us a spirit of fear. So neither should we. Nor should we have regrets about anything that we're doing. We should just, not saying you got to do everything. Not saying that you have to do everything. But it is that you've been burdened with, just trusting it. Or even if you're not burdened with it, just something that just keeps popping up in your life. The question of, what if I did this? Like, or I always like doing this. What if I, you know, instead of letting the what ifs be something from like that's a dream or an imagination, why don't you just step out and see what that could be? I'm just trying to encourage you to overcome fear. Don't let fear stop you from being who God called for you to be, essentially. So that's a wrap. It's probably like 20 minutes of rambling, but nonetheless, I'm just, this is overcoming fear of myself. So I'm grateful to be able to do this, and I can probably find many different experiences to talk about, which I'm not going to try to talk about today. I'm just trying to encourage you and inspire you in the Lord. So that's the end of this video. So I'm bringing you along the journey. So please continue to stay put, follow. You don't have to subscribe. People say that's like and subscribe. I do want to like. That would do me good. So I would like a like, but you don't have to subscribe if you don't want to. But just if you want to continue to watch this journey, if you want to continue to see what this whole process was like for me, just stay tuned and continue to watch the next episode. Anyway, thank you again. God bless. May you stay inspired and encouraged. Amen. Thank you.